The Babel Project's hidden protections were nothing out of the ordinary. A concealed trapdoor in front of the door, just waiting to collapse under my weight and drop me out of this world and into somewhere far more unfriendly. Supernatural landmines, ready to transform me into something that would make a hellspawn puke. And an invisible cage hanging in midair, containing one really pissed-off attack demon. It snarled as I drew nearer and thrust one of its many-jointed arms through the bars. Vicious claws strained to reach me. Dark and twisted and bristling with spiky fur, the demon reminded me of those horrible bird-eating spiders, only the size of a man and with the malevolence dialed up to 11. I couldn't get to the front door without putting myself in reach of the demon's claws. So I got out my skeleton key that could unlock anything. I aimed it at the invisible chain supporting the demon's cage and unlocked the spell connecting the chain to the cage. The cage dropped out of the air, hit the hidden trapdoor, and just kept on going, disappearing out of this world forever. I always enjoy this part of the dance, matching my thief's wits against whoever designed the target's protections. Stepping around the trapdoor was easy, thanks to my sunglasses, and the lock on the front door just threw its hands in the air and gave up when it saw the skeleton key coming. I pushed open the door with a flourish and strolled right in. Sometimes I wonder why they don't just put everything valuable out on the pavement in a black plastic bin liner for me to carry away. I stood very still in the deserted foyer and studied everything with great interest. Framed photographs lined the walls, portraying famous phones, historical triumphs in communication, and a few items that had to be forcibly removed from the history pages because they were just too disturbing. One photo showed a flayed human face pinned to a board that supposedly would allow you to talk to the spirits of those not yet born. Some say it was the face of Alexander Graham Bell. I thought wistfully of all the easy ways I could have robbed this place when I still had my crew. Lex Talon, the damned, armored by heaven and hell, courtesy of the halos he'd cut from the heads of 2 angels he'd murdered. Switch-It Sally, that dark-skinned, sophisticated beauty who could swap one item for another of equal size without anyone noticing. Polly Perkins, Indian werewolf, exotic dancer, and the best tracker in the business. And of course, my own beloved Annie Anybody, who could fool anyone into thinking she was anybody. With a crew like that, I could have cleaned this place out and disappeared before the security guards even had a chance to suspect something had happened. I told myself that doing the job on my own made it more of a challenge, and therefore more fun. But I was having a hard time convincing myself. I took out my special compass that always points to what I need, and followed the needle through a series of empty corridors. I stepped over or ducked under the traditional invisible beams ready to sound an alarm if broken, and got down on my hands and knees to crawl past certain portraits on the walls, whose eyes watched endlessly for unauthorized visitors. And of course, there were more attack demons in their unseen cages, straining at their chains as I dodged all the triggers that would have released them. I didn't mock the demons as I passed them by. Those things have no sense of humor and very long memories. I finally reached the door to the display room. A massive slab of solid oak, stained a murky crimson by more soaked-in human blood than I was comfortable thinking about. Kabbalistic signs had been carved deep into the wood, generating layer upon layer of defensive measures, some of which I recognized as being quite staggeringly nasty. The kind that could travel back in time to wipe out all your previous generations. You have to study up on that kind of thing in my line of work, but no one says you have to enjoy it. I produced my skeleton key and felt some of the invisible protections wince as they contemplated their inevitable undoing. I pushed the key steadily forwards, unlocking each layer of protection in turn. It took a while to get to the door itself, at which point the lock just said, "To hell with it," and the heavy door swung smoothly back. I stepped into the display room. I locked the door behind me and grinned happily as I took in the treasures laid out before me.